Oh, sorry about that. Hello everyone. To people just joining, to those who have been waiting, and to everyone watching things back on the VOD, wherever it's here on Twitch or on YouTube, depending on when you're watching this. Hello, welcome to another stream, and welcome back to Game Dev Sunday. So I'm back after like a few days away and not being able to stream on Friday. I can't say why, but it was important stuff that I had to be away for. But we are back, and now looking at, what we managed to get done last time. Last time was much like a few streams ago, or a few game dev streams ago. It was more of a planning kind of stream, and this was what we were planning. We were planning essentially how progression was going to work in terms of like hub worlds and levels and so on and so forth. And also the plot as well, which was very important to kind of pin down, because if we can pin down how plot and any given kind of story beat can sort of move forward throughout a player's journey, throughout the playthrough within the game, then we can more easily plan, all the different hub worlds, how things happen within a given like hub world, if it's like dependent on how many levels are completed within that area, so on and so forth, just like how the Spyro games do it. But yeah, so first we nailed these down. Then we were looking at different ideas for hub worlds. And it was either a case of a series of different caves, which I guess could work for like different like cavernous biomes or different like little civilizations inside those caves. Though it may be limiting in terms of variety for visuals, depending on how it's flavored. But it's an idea. It's there. Then there's also another idea I came up with, which was different areas of rat slash rodent civilization. Because, yeah, sure, our main character is a rat, but we could also feature different types of rodents as well, like mice or hamsters or squirrels, or apparently capybaras are considered rodents, which I never really knew of. I just knew capybaras were a thing, but I never knew they were considered rodents. And apparently chinchillas are considered rodents too. So, like, different, like, rodent civilizations could be an idea for a set of hub worlds too. Though I haven't fully decided, like, I have these two options, but I haven't fully decided, which is which. Which one we're going to do fully. But these are two solid options. Then I mean, we did also kind of decide in terms of how things would work, in terms of the hub and in terms of like all the hub world, in terms of how the story beats would progress. That and also having cat pirates as like the main antagonists, it would be ideal if like, oh, the rat main character lives with his wife, the cat injures or curses the wife, the rat must piece together cheese relic from cheese fragments to save wife, which is simple enough. And then from there, possibly the stakes could escalate a little bit further, because one thing that we identified, like, which was very important in terms of how some collectathons used to handle some of their plots, is that they made the stakes personal, and then as they moved along, they kind of escalated things on a bit of a larger scale. That much can definitely be said in the case of Spyro 3, where the initial plot is like, oh, we need to save the dragon eggs, we must get them back, because they're about to hatch. It's about to be the year of the dragon, and the dragon eggs are going to hatch. And they've been stolen by the sorceress and her lackeys. But then, further on into the game, it's like, oh shit, she's going to kill all of the baby dragons, and crush all the dragon eggs, steal their wings, and make a spell so that she can live forever. And that's where it escalates. Like, it's no longer a matter of let's just get the dragon eggs home so they can be safe and hatch properly. It's a matter of let's get the dragon eggs home so the sorceress cannot crush them and rip off their wings. Which is kind of a crazy thing for a plot now that I think about it. But then there's also the case of the likes of Banjo-Kazooie. Like, at the very least, the original one, it's a case of it's not a plot where it escalates even further than the initial premise, where Banjo has to go rescue his sister Tooty from Gruntilda because she plans on stealing Tooty's youth and making her ugly while she herself makes herself beautiful. Like, it's a very personal one because it's like Banjo needs to rescue his sister. He needs to protect her from Gruntilda trying to make her ugly. Like that's reason enough to get Banjo and the player invested. And then in Banjo-Tooie's case, there's the case of, well, Gruntilda's returned. That's one thing that's a problem. So already Banjo is very involved in things because he and Kazooie took Gruntilda down in the last game. Then there's the matter of Gruntilda killing Bottles. So Banjo-Kazooie set off to avenge Bottles. And the whole third part is that, this isn't just going to be a case of like on a small scale kind of things. Gruntilda has the machine which siphons life from the Isle of Hags, and she plans on using it to turn everyone on the island into zombies so she can restore her own body. So it escalates from, oh, we already took care of you once, to, oh, you killed our friend, to, oh god, you're going to basically kill everyone on the island if we don't stop you. So in the case of Banjo-Tooie, although it's not like, oh, it happened, like we initially set off with this premise and then well later on it's like, oh, this is bad, she's going to do this. It's established fairly early on in the game, like not after you meet King Jingling, the king of the Jinjo village, that it's revealed what Gruntilda's plan is. So, like, it doesn't take long to establish, you know, not just, like, the personal scales for Banjo and the player, but also, well, the more escalated stakes for the game's world as a whole. So, in terms of, like, progression, I feel like with this plot premise that I chose here, there is room for it to escalate further, if need be. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to escalate. We don't need to say, oh, we've had this plot starting off like this, but suddenly, uh-oh, this thing happens. We could just go, like, very basic, starting off. Especially if, like, I ever plan on, like, eventually making more, but, yeah, so we did this, we looked into the hub ideas, and then we looked at level ideas. So these ones right here were the ones that we came up with for the project itself. However, I was looking at different collectathon games and also other platformer games in general, just to sort of like draw like, oh, these are the types of level ideas these games had. So, like, Mario 64, you had, like, grassy plains in the case of Bob-omb Battlefield. You had a fortress with Warmth Fortress. You had, like, a derelict like Ship Bay and Jolly Roger Bay, underground caverns. Lethal Lava Land is, well, that does what it says in the tin. You had, like, 1 or 2 Ice World. You had, I can't remember what that level's called. What was it called? It's Tiny Huge Island. That's the one. And the reason why I categorize that as size changes is because it's not in terms of the level's visuals, because that's kind of, it's like a fairly plain, like, green, like, hill, like, mountain kind of level, but I use size changes as kind of like a main distinguisher, because in that level the whole gimmick is like, oh, instead of having one painting that you can enter this level from, you have 2 paintings that you enter this level from, and depending on which one that you enter through, you're either large or you're tiny. So that's the whole point of Tiny Huge Island. Which, you know, it's like a very different concept, because some power stars in that level require you entering the level as a certain size to actually be able to do things, which I think is pretty cool. And then, of course, I also noted, like, the sky or clouds because of Rainbow Ride, which is, like, a fairly well-known level from Super Mario 64. Now, with Spyro 3, there was a lot more of an extensive list, because I wasn't counting the Speedway levels. However, there is a very large spread. Like, it has a very large spread of, like, themes in terms of visuals and aesthetics. So in terms of Spyro 3's level ideas, we have Rome/Italy for Sunny Villa. We have Clouds for Cloud Spires. We have Tiki Volcano for the Molten Crater. We have the Swiss Alps for Sheila's Alps. Beach for Seashell Shore. We've got like Ice Mountains for Icy Peak. We've got like a Bayou Swamp for Spooky Swamp. We've got kind of fantasy for the Enchanted Towers. We've got like a war base for Sergeant Bird's base. And then moving on, we've got like an ice temple for Frozen Altars, a haunted shipyard for Lost Fleet. We've got like a sort of like icy kind of cliffside thing for Bentley's level. But for Bentley's outpost. And then we've got like fairy tales for Charm Ridge and like sort of like Chinese like myth kind of thing with the dragons in Fireworks Factory. And then in like Midnight Mountain, as I pointed out during that stream, like Greek for the desert ruins. We've got like Egyptian for Haunted Tomb, Western / Cowboy for the Dino Mines, which I like that level. I like that level visually because, you know, cowboy dinosaurs. Your game probably doesn't have cowboy dinosaurs, and my game won't have cowboy dinosaurs either, so that's kind of an L. But cowboy dinosaurs are cool, like Crystal / Magic for Crystal Islands, and then you have like an island lab for Agent 9's lab. And in terms of like the main level themes, I'm not counting the speedways, and I'm not counting the absolute final level in Spyro 3, because I feel like it's very difficult to kind of pin down what exactly that one would be, but it's a very, very broad spread. And then for Crash 1, we kind of talked about how there was like a small number of level themes, not too many. There were some, but, you know, not as like spread compared to, say, Mario 64 or Spyro 3. So, talking about how many hub worlds that there would be, I believe I noted 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, I am not. There we go. So I noted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I noted 12 potential level themes for this project. So like an underground ruin / underground civilization, like a desert / oasis, medieval / fantasy, because they can kind of be used interchangeably. Either like an ocean kind of like resort level, or an underwater level, or, you know, something along the beach, or like a riverside kind of like settlement or factory or something like that. Something to do with bugs, something to do with myths like Greek, Roman myths, and so on and so forth. Airships would be a very cool idea for a level. Pirates, of course, because if we have like a cat pirate as our main villain, then it would be kind of weird if we didn't have like a pirate-themed level. A level to do with like musical instruments and stuff. Steampunk, haunted house, and then like a crystal kind of mountain or mines kind of deal. And that's what I have decided at the moment. Now, in terms of actually going into level design, because I know we are going to touch upon that today, I'm not going to design any of the proper levels. I would be trying to design at least one hub world. And the thing that I'm trying to think about, because, let's be honest, where's my pen? There it is. Well, my tablet pen. There it is. I feel like I'd have to take a slightly different approach, but I didn't need another one. I already had this here. Whoops. But yes, in terms of designing a hub world compared to an actual full level, I feel like there would need to be a bit of a different approach to it, because if you've been here following, okay, that's not coming through on my mic, it's just that outside my window the trains are moving at the moment, so I'm not sure if that's coming through my mic or if it's... Okay, looking at OBS it comes through a little bit, but not too much. Okay, but yes, so in terms of design or level designing hub worlds compared to level designing like a full level, if you've been here for long enough following this project's development, then you would remember... I should actually find out the diagram that I was using to influence my design for my little test level environment, and that's at least a few months back in terms of what I've done. Found it. Cool, right. So we have the actual beat map for the test level. So we had what would essentially be the start section. We have a sprint section where you would go across like the little pushers where they would push you off into like a little tray, and you'd be able to climb back up and try again. Then you have like the air dash platforms. I never had like to be fair, I didn't do like 2, 2, and then to 3. I did it as like from here to there, and then across like a gap of like small little platforms to here and walk up the stairs. I'm not tabbed into I have to go over like waving my cursor over things again. Also again. Right. So if you remember long enough, I made like the end area for this test level especially large because at the time the whole the one little level design philosophy that I was taking into account is that in some levels it is good to have a landmark or your destination in view because it allows players to focus on that and essentially but it would allow them to sort of focus on it and essentially be like, oh, that's where I need to go. I need to travel from where I am at the moment to this point at the end, and I can see where I need to be. You know? It's not, you know, something that's like, oh, we're doing this because la-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. It's just a fairly standard, like, idea that's trying to get the player to sort of recognize that this thing that's, like, looming in the background is important. And you can clearly see it from, like, most of the places within this level. And I made it, and it was, like, especially important to sort of, like, from this area before, like, you do the ground pound and go to the wall jump section, that you can at the very least see where the level would end. And then sort of, like, learn, oh, we have to go down here next. But the point I'm trying to make, and I need to now scrape stuff from my teeth. Not good. Is that when I was, like, designing the level, the test level at the very least, my approach was, of course, having one large object in the background, or one large landmark in the background that the player could easily sort of identify as their destination, or at the very least, an important place where they need to go on the way to the end of the level, and then sort of move from there. However, a different approach to a hub world is that, there is, like, it can be necessary to have some important landmarks so you can properly orient yourself throughout the hub world. But I wouldn't say it's 100% necessary, considering the fact that in a few games with hub worlds, they don't really have, like, landmarks per se. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I'm trying to think of a good example without, like, automatically gravitating to Spyro. Alright, Super Mario 64. So, if you can remember, as I've explained before in terms of, like, types of hub world, Super Mario 64 is one of those cases where you have a hub world within, like, what I guess could be considered a singular area, but the singular area is divided into, like, different sub-areas, so you have the different, like, floors within Peach's castle. Like, sure, you have, like, the outside going in, but that's literally in an outside area, which is considered an entirely separate area. So, say that's the bridge, say that's the door, you go in, you have, like, the main, castle foyer. I'm trying to draw this from memory, which is never a good thing. You have stairs here. You have a set of doors here. You have a little walkway that goes over here. There's another door over here. You go over here. There's, like, another walkway with another door at the end of here. You have a door, like, here. You have a door here, which goes into, like, the little section where you can get to the basement floor. And then for the rest of, like, this first area, you have, like, the different level doors, like here, 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 and here. If I've somehow managed to, like, remember where each of the like the painting room doors are on this floor from memory, and that's kind of crazy. But my whole point is that there's not like a landmark within like this given space. There's no like, oh, there's this big object that you can use to orient yourself. Because to be fair, in the case of this room or this area within Peach's Castle, it's fairly condensed, and I feel like a lot of the spaces within Peach's Castle are fairly condensed. So it's not like you're going to be getting yourself lost or anything, depending on where you are, but it's fairly easy to find your way around areas within Peach's Castle in Super Mario 64. And then in other games, you have something as simple as a world map, like whether that's like a collectathon or just a regular platform or anything like that. Now that I think, right, so I'm trying to think. Because of course you have collectathons with hub worlds and then their levels, but what can simultaneously be considered a hub, but also the levels themselves, are the spaces within Super Mario Odyssey, where you have these large, sprawling environments. You have like some small areas where you can consider it like a little mini hub where the Odyssey sort of parks itself, but for the most part, so much of that environment is it's so large. There's like a lot to take in, and it's crazy how you could kind of consider it like a level and a hub all in one, though for the most part they are considered like levels rather than hubs. But yes, but yes, another example of like the hub worlds, like Banjo-Kazooie is another one where it's, as I've already described, a like what is I suppose like a single location, but it's multiple areas within that location. This case being Gruntilda's lair, and at the very least, before you go into Gruntilda's lair, during the outside section in Spiral Mountain, where you're getting to grips with the game, you're learning the controls, you're learning how things work. And then you decide, oh, yep, you know what, I think I've learned everything, or you have actually gone out of your way to learn everything from bottles, and you've, like, found, like, honeycombs and stuff and lives, and you decide, yeah, I'm gonna go up the mountain, and I'm gonna go into Gruntilda's lair. At the very least, if we're looking at, like, something that's big and recognizable, you have like this is like the little top of the mountain. I'm not drawing like the little path, except I'll just do it like this, and whatnot. But you have like the entrance to the lair, which is just Gruntilda's head. Like, it's just Gruntilda's head, and the lair on the outside is like, oh, it's like a big tower that sits as her hat. But like, within the Spiral Mountain area, at the very least, you can't see it from absolutely everywhere, but for the most part, you can see it in plenty of places across Spiral Mountain. So it's distinguishable. It's, you're pointing the player to where they need to go to start the game properly, but this isn't like, oh, this is a hub world with landmarks. This is a little like tutorial area that gives you the landmark to go to the actual hub. Because whenever you continue from like loading the save from the save slot on the main menu, you'll just start at the bottom of Gruntilda's lair. You won't start in Spiral Mountain, you start at the bottom of Gruntilda's lair. Like the very first floor near like the level door for Mumbo's Mountain and the first note door. That's where you always start from a save. And in some ways, I guess Banjo-Tooie is also kind of similar in that regard. Like, there are some more landmarks within Banjo-Tooie in a way because of, I'd say, the absolute scale of the Isle of Hags as a hub world. Like, if we were to look at the Jinjo village, I'm going to do this from, like, a top-down view rather than just, you know, trying to draw things as, like, a little landscape painting. Like, say you enter, like, the Jinjo village from here. You have, like, the Jinjo houses all arranged in a circle, and you have the grey Jinjo house, which has been destroyed. You have all the other Jinjo houses there, and then up the hill, you have, or some of the Jinjo houses, like, not all of them are within that, like, little circle. You have some of the Jinjo houses here, and then you have King Jingling's, house, like, his residence, up the hill here. Or, say you have, like, the first, like, the area where the first level gate is to the Mayhem Temple. You enter here, and then immediately to your right, you don't have, you have, like, where the level gate to Mayhem is, but you have, like, the absolute, like, hulking monstrosity that is Jiggy Wiggy's temple. And that is, like, a landmark in itself, because you can actually, you can recognize, oh, there is this big structure here. It looks very significant. It looks kind of important. You have, like, the rest of this, like, little plain, like, area here, and of course you have, like, a little path here that leads to, like, a giant egg, but that's not, like, too important for the most part, because that's kind of hidden away. That's hidden out of your line of sight. But right here, you can see the first level gate, and then you see Jiggy Wiggy's temple. Like, that's in terms of, like, having, like, recognizable things for a landmark. So, and then moving on, finally, to Spyro 3. So let's use, I'm going to try and draw this as much as I can from memory. So we have Sunrise Spring. Like, you start off in, like, a little kind of, like, alcove-ish area here. You go down, like, say, like, here, this is where you find the first egg. The first level gate is here. You have Sheila's cage with money bags here. Have, like, the little like, pond / lake here. That kind of goes, like, around here and so on and so forth. And you don't really have, like, a notable structure until you get to where the Seashell Shore world portal is, because you have, like, so say this is where you say this is where you jump off into the water. The Seashell Shore world portal is here, and then you have this, like, big building where the balloon is assembled as you rescue the people from the levels within the first hub world within Sunrise Spring. There's no, like, clear landmark until you see this. And I suppose the only way that the player is guided within this hub world, in a way, is mostly through, like, just following this kind of linear pathway. Like, it's kind of linear, it's semi-linear to an extent, because, like, sure, you have, like, the little, like, path going from where you start around and then towards where the water is and whatnot, but At the same time, if you want, you can just go over to the Sunny Villa portal. You can just go talk to Moneybags and free Sheila and do her level. You can go up like the little like slope and jump over to where Cloud Spires is, or you can go into the tunnel that's like across from where Cloud Spires is to gain access to like the brief super flight power up to get an egg. Or hell, you don't even have to like go towards like where the big building where the balloon is. You can go this way instead, and you can go up to find the first of the Mushroom Speedway. You can find the Mushroom. Yeah, no, the Mushroom Speedway level. The first of the speedways in the game. But like the way Sunrise Spring works in terms of guiding the player is a case of it's linear, and then there's it's somewhat loose in its linearity, but at the same time it's still like a fairly linear hub world as the player sort of like gets used to things. And then when you get to Midday Garden, it's a bit more open. It's still fairly linear in terms of how you get from like some parts of the hub, because you have like say you have like where you come out for the balloon here, hold on, let me just. I'm trying to, like, here's the thing, I'm trying to draw some of these hub worlds from memory. It's kind of crazy how I can remember a fair bit of it, but at the same time, I will, forget. But yeah, no, you have, like, the little, like, lake here, you go off to the side, you got, like, kind of like a cliff here, you have, like, a sort of, like, stepped slope, which is the entrance to the Enchanted Towers, and a bit further. Oh, I need to shift this over slightly because this is not accurate in the slightest. I know it's not important for like an explanation, but in my opinion, if I'm at least getting this through properly, then that's what matters to me. But so further up, we have like the little like the little steps leading to like, which is something that is more of like an open area, and then behind like here we have like big building. We have like the big building that's kind of like, I guess in a way this is kind of the landmark that you can use to orient yourself here, because at this point you have this building that is visible from most, if not all, of the hub, and then like you're running around it a lot. You'll go into it like once or twice to talk with Moneybags to free Sergeant Bird, do his level and whatnot. But then you have like the rest of the hub world, which kind of goes off that way. And then here you just have like the cave where you can go into Icy Peak. But it's a fair bit more open, like in terms of where you can see a landmark and such from. And then when we get to Evening Lake, it kind of, like, it's fairly, like, it's non-linear, but it's not obviously non-linear until you do certain things within that space, where you can kind of cut from, like, one part to another without having to go all the way around if you break open walls, which is pretty cool. But that's mostly, like, underwatery kind of stuff. But then with Midnight Mountain, because like things within that hub world are mostly like small little like islands, small little floating islands linked together like by pathways and bridges and stuff, you can kind of glide from like one to another on like a lower layer and then kind of go elsewhere or go up, go around, and so on. Like it's very open. Like that hub world, I'd say, is the most open, probably because at that point the player has gone through the game. They've gone through the entire game up until that point. They've gotten used to the controls. They've gotten used to like searching for secrets, trying to find collectibles and everything within a given space. They recognize that, hey, the player must be pretty thorough with trying to find the things that we've placed in those other hub worlds. So let's give them things that are a lot more open, but let's be a little more tricky with how we hide things. And that's what they kind of do with some of, with one or two of the eggs that you can find in Midnight Mountain. And then, of course, there is, like, the main, like, court, kind of, like, palace-ish area where you can go in and fight the sorceress for the first time. Like, that also has, like, a significant kind of landmark that the player can see. It's like it evolves from... If I had to explain how Spyro 3 handles hub worlds, it's like it goes from slowly funneling the player down a linear path to still, like, having a linear path that the player must follow, but it's still, like, fairly open, to making it possible for the player to go between a given area and another given area by creating shortcuts, to this is like a very open space. You can go from here and then go to there, or you can go down here but also back here. Like, it goes from very linear to still somewhat linear, but it's a bit more open to we're able to go, like, shortcut from point A to point B, or, like, to another place. And then to, like, this, like, very openness here. So, I think, like, not just in terms of, like, themes. Like, sure, themes are important in the context of, like, the story and everything. Like, themes for a hub world, like, the visual identity is a key element in how they are designed. However, another thing that must be considered is the overall complexity of the design as well. Like, are we going to make it linear and sort of, like, funnel a player along? Are we going to sort of, like, basically give them what is essentially a guided tour of a given hub world space and say, oh, you go from here to here, next stop you're going here, and then you're going here, and now you've seen all of it. Do you have any questions? And have it be like that the entire time, which would be very boring? Or would it be a case of we do a similar kind of progression with, like, the later Spyro games, where we start off, like, with something very linear, and then we sort of increase the openness of the hub spaces as things progress even further? I feel like that would be very ideal, because, you know, like, sure, it may seem like at first it's babying the player and we're not really trusting the player's intelligence, but this is more of a case of we're helping them, like, get used to things, like, as they move along, and then we're opening things up a lot more in terms of how they can navigate spaces. And I feel like a similar thing can be applied to levels as well. I'm trying to think, like, if other collected ones do that. I'm pretty sure Mario and Spyro do it. I'm fairly confident that they both do it. So, hmm. But I like the idea. So but now here's the thing. So like it feels like because I'm not too used to, like, in the first place, I'm not too used to designing levels. Like, that much is known. But I'm also not too used to designing hub worlds. Like, the only time I've ever attempted to design or try and create a hub world was for one of my projects back in Unity. And that was a 2D hub world. That was like a 2D side-scrolling hub world, kind of. But in this case, this is a hub world within a 3D space. So I'm somewhat out of my depth. Gosh, right. It's like, because the thing I'm thinking is, like, if we were to go for the like the areas of rodent civilization, which I do like that as an idea for a set of hub worlds. But but like, God damn it! Now it's like, so. Like, of course, like, if we were entering, like, any of the other hub worlds further on in this project, there would be, like, a little gateway or a little mode of transportation or something like that that gets the player into those areas, and they would start off from, like, where these things would lead them to. Like say, like, the rats or the different rodents offered a different mode of transportation. Like, the rats offered, like, a little weird river ferry, or like something along those lines. Like, and in terms of, like, having, like, little stations in, like, the next area, or a little station in the next area where the player appears from, that could be an idea. However, in terms of where the player would start in the very first hub world, like, if we were going for this, like, idea of the different areas of rodent civilization, then it would have to be, like, we would start from, like, the player character's house. We would have, like, a house that the player would, like, walk out of, and then, like, it's fairly, like they live at the end of the street, maybe, and they sort of, like, or what could be considered, like, a rat equivalent of a street within a colony, and then they sort of, like, walk towards a, like, town square or something like that. And they can see, like, this station where we leave from, we can see where this is, and then orient ourselves based on, like, where we can see it from. Like, that doesn't sound like too terrible of an idea. I feel like I feel like it can work. So, but of course, it's not just, like, my input, but it's also asking other people for their input too. So who knows? Who knows? Also, one thing I should probably do before anything else, I should probably make an announcement in the Discord about the streams for the coming week. Then Wednesday's stream, which I don't know what I'd be doing then, but I'll figure it out because it'll be a start of a new playthrough, but I need to look at the little thing that I made when I finished Birth by Sleep. Um, then ah, ow. Right, so I feel like it definitely could. It definitely could work as an idea for like starting. Like this won't be like a finalized idea, for a hub world design. Hell, if I decide to go for like a different like set of themes for a hub world, then you know this could change entirely. But like like this is like like say this is like, and you have like another house here. There's maybe like a derelict house or something that's like being refurbished and stuff, and then you have the like the street sort of like going straight and winding a little bit, and then rather than like curving around, like going like down on the lower path and going here, you have this path that's like all like cordoned off, and you go up a bridge, perhaps. Like I can't exactly like properly illustrate some of my ideas without making it too big, so I feel like I'd have to draw it on such a smaller scale. But I believe ad break should be starting soon. Oh, good lord. Like, even with a window open, like, you can tell, like, we're properly moving into summer, chat and people watching things back because of how, like, regardless of, like, even if you have, like, a window open, it still gets very humid in my room, and it's, I hate the humid, like, I love the summer. I love it being warm and hot outside. Don't get me wrong, but it's when humidity sticks to you, which is when it becomes like kind of a nightmare. Right, there we go. Ad break will be starting in about 2.5 minutes. So my brain. Um, I may have to do it as like kind of a level beat map again, but this is gonna look more like a spider diagram rather than like a level beat map. Um, so yes. Let's say like here at this point you'd have like the like a river ferry station kind of. Hmm. And I don't know whether I have this like elevated or if this would just be like a like very big build. I feel like having it elevated would make a bit of sense, but also, or if it's like elevated at the front and it kind of goes down. I don't know why I'm talking about the specifics of how I would structure the building. I just need to make it at the very least visible. So we have the player's house. But then I would also have to make some spaces within this hub world which would facilitate, oh, some of the cheese fragments fell here when the pirates were leaving, or when the cheese fragments were split, they were buried, but because of the attacks from the pirates, then they were unearthed. Here, take these. Maybe you can find some use for them, or, you know, something along those lines. Who knows? I'm just trying to think of things that would make sense, if that makes sense. Yeah. It's going to take a while to probably figure it all out. But this is the whole point of the process. Anyway, ads are about to start, so I will be right back in a few minutes. So hold on, we will be back soon. And we are back. Hello. Um. Right. So. Why is it so difficult to think about this? I was not tabbed into Clip Studio, and when I was undoing stuff, I remuted myself. um, fun times, fun times. So, so if we have like the house, and then like have like this little like roadblock-ish area full of rubble, um. Or maybe it's like, rather than a roadblock, maybe it's like a giant sewer grate. Who knows? It could be like a giant sewer grate. But like it's one that's kind of inaccessible, so um or it could be like, oh, their house is like in like a lower area rather than like a street, and they kind of like it could be. Right. So they go up, they have like this little like overhang, like overpass area. And then they can either like go down this other side and find other things, or they can like continue. I should also probably like draw like lines to indicate that, oh yeah, these are steps, because otherwise it'd be a bit confusing. For other people, not for me, but for other people. Potentially. And then this could go like over like here, like this would then like kind of like be a wall. And then like this is like a path, like kind of like a sort of like sewery kind of like sludgy kind of path. And this isn't like the river, this is like just an area of like the sewers that just kind of trickles down. So maybe the house is like along the side here. Or if I move it over so it makes sense. I do my best. Right, so that can sit right there. That will make sense, in my opinion, and I like that it makes sense for me. So that will work. And then, like, and then, hey, maybe this, like, little area at the end here can be, like, a whole bunch of crates. Like, this could be, like, a whole bunch of, like, boxes and crates and stuff that the player, or trash that the player has to destroy, and they get, like a piece of cheese or some fruit there because, oh, hey, this was accidentally thrown away. When really, it shouldn't have been thrown away, but it was because, you know, people made a mistake. Um, um, also, I may as well, like, define some, like, borders for, like, the river ferry station. Just so it can, at the very least, make sense, in terms of where things are cut off for where the player is able to move to. Hmm. See, now I'm feeling like if I move this over slightly, it would afford me, like, it shouldn't have to be it shouldn't have to be too big, or it doesn't need to be too big, but it's a case of, at the very least, having enough, like, space to facilitate, um, so have this overhang area, which... But then I want to find ways where... where fitting, like, little level entrances would work. Hmm. And this could be, like, a little weird, like, garage or shop or, like, hut that has a cheese in it. Yeah. So you can have a cheese there. Hmm. And then as you're moving like through, you encounter your first level gate. Now, the thing I'm thinking of with the level gates is that, yes, they have to make sense, but I need to actually think of what will these level gates actually be? Like, how would I make them... Ugh, sorry? How would I make them unique in a way that works with the world and the narrative that I'm trying to sort of tell, if that makes sense? Because if we look at so if we look at Mario 64, so level gates, if we look at Mario 64, like, gateways to all the other levels are paintings. Okay? So, if you're with me so far, each gateway to a level in Mario 64 were paintings. They had little pictures of the level environment from, like, a distance and whatnot. If we look at Banjo-Kazooie, like, you'd have, like, a level door in, like, an area that was themed after it. So, for example, if we were to look at Mumbo's Mountain, it's simply, like, a small little mountain, and then you'd have, like, the name Mumbo's Mountain on the sign above the door, and then you'd have, you know, the door that opens here. Then in Banjo-Tooie, like, it's kind of similar, but at the same time, they're not labeled. Like, say for example, let's take up the gate to, like, Cloud Cuckoo Land, where instead of, like, a door, it's, like, a floating bubble. And then some others are just, like, a door in, like, a stone wall. Or, like, the giant entrance to, like, a warehouse or something. Like, it varies with Banjo-Tooie, and while I do appreciate that, like, in some areas within the, like, original Banjo-Kazooie, it varied as well, but, at the same time, I feel like it being mildly inconsistent for, like, what level gates can look like is kind of to its own detriment, if that makes sense. And then if we look at Spyro 3, then all of them are, like, they're all portals, but each of, like, the portals are, like, have, like, a frame that's themed after the area. So, like, in this, like, kind of, like, brick tiley kind of thing, we have Sunny Villa, or if we have, like, the little, like, Alp house, we have, like, Sheila's Alps, and so on and so forth. Like, that's, like, fine and all, because they're just portals anyway, but the portals have, like, little portal frames that are themed after a given level. I have to think about how this would work in terms of the context of the plot of my project, which is a fair amount to think about. So, hmm. Hmm. Right. How would it make sense? Right. You think so? Rat, flat, level, gates. They could be machines. They could be like, rather than portals, they could be teleporters being invented by some crazy rat bastard, in a literal sense, in the area, and they travel from like hub world to hub world, being like, oh yes, I have picked up some dimensional destabilization here, and I have decided to create a portal, a teleporter, to be able to access these areas, and something like that. But it requires a certain reading to be able to open these gateways, and it turns out those relics you've been finding are very helpful indeed. But then it would beg the question of how the hell do the pirate cats get to these like different areas if they're like causing problems at all, or if it's a case of these different level locales just have like their own problems with their own like monsters and stuff. Who knows? Who knows? Um, hmm. And it's like, it's not like a scientific machine that makes sense. It's something that's, been haphazardly thrown together. It's rat science. It's not, sophisticated or refined or elegant in any way. It's just very like very much like scraggled, like cobbled together. You have like certain parts that feel like they should not be held together structurally, but somehow it works, and it looks like it could fall apart at any second. And I feel like this could work, but There could also be like ancient relic kind of like portal assemblies that require like cheese being inserted into some slots and whatnot. Um, but then that would just be the same as Jiggies, and the jigsaw puzzles in Banjo-Kazooie, so I don't want to just, copy that. Um, or, like, kind of along, like, the same lines of, like, being, like, an ancient, like, portal, but it's like, oh, these structures have long remained dormant, but are responding to the powers of the cheese fragments, and then they start to awaken depending on like how many you have, which would essentially like in a story related context satisfy the whole like why do you need a certain amount of this thing to be able to open this gateway or that gateway and all that jazz. I feel like narratively speaking that could work very well, but that's my opinion. Right. So ancient. And it'd be, I guess it's kind of a boring approach where it's like, oh, it's like made of brick, like ancient, like brick and stuff. Why do I have my drawing tablet angled? I don't know why I did that. Or it's like made, not of brick, because that looks like more like a nether portal from Minecraft. But you have like columns that look like this. But the cheese like core is like magically suspended. And then there's like little cheese gratings that create like the outline of the portal, maybe. Like maybe that's not technically possible if I'm trying to like sort of keep things to a certain visual style, but I feel like maybe like cheese grating PNGs like trickling along like the actual portal itself. Who knows? Um Whew, gosh. Maybe... But then I'd have to explain, like, where these came from. Like, they can't just, like, have appeared out of, like, thin air. They have to be like, oh, they were buried, and then they emerged from the ground, and they've just kind of, like, one has, like, exploded into someone's house somewhere from the ground. And it's like, oh, I'm never getting my mortgage back. Something like that. Or whatever rats would have as the equivalent of mortgages. But who knows? Who knows? Right. So we've got a teleporter, an ancient teleporter, or the other option is someone somehow just has magic. Like there's some crazy, like, rat who, like, is a wizard or something. Which wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make too much sense if each level gate was just, like, a different wizard. So maybe cross that off. So the only two that kind of make sense are the teleporter from, like, a crazy rat bastard scientist. But then I'd have to make it make sense for, oh, how did the cats get there? Did they also find these dimensional rifts, or did they just sail there? Or is them causing trouble causing these rifts in the first place? So teleporter, agent teleporter. Like I have the crazy rat bastard stuff, or the stuff that just emerges from the fucking ground, and in some cases has just, like, emerged and exploded into someone's house, and they're like, oh god, what's the landlord going to say about this? What the hell? Like, maybe this could be the house where the first one appears, like right here, this is just like, and the level gate is just like in here. It's like, oh, what? Oh, this has just exploded in my house. This is terrible. Can you please go in and see what this is? Because I am scared. And then you go in and you explore the first level. Like, maybe that. Like, maybe it's simple. But now I have to think about it, because, Ooh, wait. Because then, like, this could go down here in terms of, like, sludge or water. This could be, like, all blocked off by, like, barrels and crates and whatnot. Which could make sense. That would make sense. And that's, like, a set of buildings in itself. That just kind of comes in from, like... Oh, wait, and then, like, this here could be a bridge. But the bridge is out. Like, the bridge is raised, but it's completely out. And there's no, like, way across until it's lowered. So, like, what happens is, like, oh, the bridge technician, like, you can repair it. But he's like, oh, no, I can't do anything about it. We've run out of energy. Our blood, like, we're hungry, or our blood sugars are low, or we need more, fruit to power this or something like that, and then that's where you need to get more fruit from like another level, and then like you go off this way, like, and like bearing in mind, like, rather than like like, sure, Moneybags in Spyro 3 introduces you to the idea of having to pay gems to like do certain things fairly early on, like with freeing Sheila, but in terms of like affecting things environmentally. Also, there we go. If it will load. Hello? Weird. There we go. Yeah, so... But then I want to try and make it, like... Like, have another, like, little, like, ancient teleporter, like, do-hickamajig here. But it's more so, like... I don't know if I should have it, like, be a puzzle you have to solve, access it and then... Or... This could also be like climbing up, like jumping and climbing up crates and stuff. And that's like on a higher perch, maybe, perhaps. Think, brain. You can do this. You're coming up with the ideas so far, but why are you struggling now? Ugh. Brain. Right, so along this side... To be fair, I should probably move this a bit further up, because I want to have, like, a little square, oh boy. Like, a little, like, square, like, town square kind of thing on the other side here. And then... Pink! Ah! Oop. So we've got, on this other side, we've got this little square area. And I want a level gate to be here. So I want it to be like, oh, there's like buildings here, buildings there. There's like a little side street here. And then this is like where like a little, so we got stairway into the ferry station there. So you have like a little fountain here. And this is where we'd have like another level gate. Like where it's sort of risen out of this fountain and it's kind of propped the top of it up, which I think is a cool idea. And then, like, there's, like, another, like, set of buildings. And that's, like, a bridge across. I'd say this is like a reservoir that kind of like splits off from like the main like river. If that makes sense. So like you have the main like big river here, the main river current, and this is like a little thing that splits off. And then you have like some guys like garage, like some rats like garage or auto shop that's like here, but they can't like move their vehicle like out because the teleporter has appeared. Like, I don't want to damage this in case it does something. So I guess we're stuck here. Maybe. Or I can like change this idea and I can have something else here. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows indeed? Indeedly-oo. Right. And then we have like, kind of like maybe like my tentative idea for now is like some like small like branching like streets that kind of link up. Like, I think this is just me rushing a thing now that I think about it. Because my brain's trying to come up with ideas, but at the same time, it's slowly, like, petering out of these ideas, and that's kind of a not good thing. Ouch. There we go, much better. Go back. Oh, gosh. Have like something that happens here. Maybe a timed thing, who knows? Could this be bigger? Ouch. Ouch. Also, I swear to God, my back's still been hurting. Like, I've been taking steps to try and sort it out and improve it, but even when I'm, like, sat on, like, a fairly sturdy chair, I will save this. I'll say character concepts. I'll say make a new folder. I mean, you can't see this, but rat plat level concepts. Another new folder. Call this rat plat. Oh no. No. Oh. Oh, hi. That kind of caught me off guard. I was just staring straight at my screen. Oh, gosh. Hi. I can't do I can't do a high pitch like normally. I'm sorry, but I get the intent. I get the intent. Hub concepts, and then this is going to be called Hub 1 Draft 1, because this is not going to be like the final draft of what I do for a hub world design. Hub 1 Draft 1. There we go. Now, that's all well and good and all. I feel like I could do something a bit different. Who knows? To be fair, that reminder to hydrate was probably a good idea, considering the fact that it's just very humid in my room, so I need to stay hydrated as much as I can. I have faith in... Thank you. I do what I can. I'm not the greatest with level design, but I do what I can. I do what I can, but I can't what I do. That's what I live by. It sounds good, to be fair. It sounds good. I hadn't thought about, like... I always say I do my best, or I do what I can, or stuff like that, but I never thought about the whole, like, but I can't what I do. Also, ad breaks start in a few minutes. Oh, man. Trying to think, and then you get distracted. And then you try and think again, and you think, oh, this works, and then you draft it out. Like, it doesn't look too bad of an idea, but, again, this won't be the final design for the first hub world. This is the first hub world that I'm trying to design, and, like, I've been thinking all day too. Like, I haven't been thinking too much, but it's more so, like, trying to design levels forces me to try and think a lot more than I would normally need to, and because I do tend to struggle with this stuff, and because of that, it's like, it must reach deep inside and see what is cooking in there, and then it's like, yeah, this seems like a good, like, premise for something to do, and then, in the end, it's, yeah, this works, but it also doesn't work. There are positives, but also negatives. So, I feel like having, like, one big landmark can still work for a level environment, but I feel like... I feel like having it be, like, very linear, like, it works. It works for, like, if I'm trying to do the whole, like, progression of each hub world being, like, going from very linear to very open. Like, I feel like it can work as, like, a starting point, but at the same time, I mean, to be fair, I'm only looking at this from, like, a top-down view. It's not like I have actually sort of, like, thought of, like, any true sense of verticality? So who knows? Maybe I can introduce more verticality when it comes to actually building it, if I decide to go with this design. Because, of course, from, like, a top-down view, it looks very... It understandably looks very flat. So... You know... Steps can be taken. Steps can be taken. I have to look at this from a different angle. Mayhaps. But yes, the ad breaks are about to start, so I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a few minutes, so hang on tight, we'll be back soon. Right, and we're back. Also, as a hi Tails, it's been a while, like a while. Hope everything's been good. Everything's been everything's been okay. It's been a long while since I've heard anything from you. I hope you're doing okay as well. I'm trying to remember about 1 damn 63.5 times 88.9 millimeter, 0.012 inches thick. 1.75 grams piece of cardboard. Also, yes, I did look. Oh, good lord. Yeah, no, this. Me tapping my plastic bottle, thinking, what can I do here to make it different? So like. And I've already hydrated. Nightbot can shut up. I've already hydrated. Oh, it's just a card from a TCG. Oh. Oh yeah, no, that makes more sense now. That makes way more sense now. So I'm gonna make another file. I'm gonna I'm gonna line it up here. So we have. We have the first draft here. Now. I don't want to completely scrap the idea of having one big landmark within the hub level to, like, sort of... But in terms of how I lay it out, I may want to lay it out completely differently. So I'd say, like, maybe if I was to, like, split it off, so, like, this isn't, like, part of the level, this is just, like, kind of, like, a boundary, like, wall kind of thing, maybe. Or I could just use this to put, like, key, yeah, no, I could do it like this. And then that sort of, like, means I'm not, like, trying to fill up too much space. It's actually kind of confining it a little bit. And that probably makes it easier to actually try and make decisions about what I want certain things to look like or how I want things to be structured. So... Yes, I still want, like, the whole, like, river ferry, like, little river ferry station here. So, I'm gonna do this here just to be neat. Do the big circle, say the... Something crazy just happened, Mr. Ted. Oh, good lord. Oh, hi, Isaac. What happened? Is it because I actually messaged you back in DMs, or did something else happen in the Discord? Oh yeah, you were fucking talking about this. I fucking knew it. Is that all, Isaac? Is that all, Isaac? But it gets better. Mm-hmm. Go on. Go on. You replied to a DM while you were... Maybe I can perform miracles. Right. Maybe it's easier to visualize now that I have that, and I still have like maybe the main path, like there's like the town, like the little town square, which is like is my yearly shop. It really is. Although, I'm trying to think of what it was last year. I can't remember. And then there's like a straight path here, and then you have like little houses and stuff here, and a fountain there. That's more like a Pokeball kind of shape. Oh, okay, Vlad. One moment. Oh wait, actually, no, if I do this, and then do that... And I don't know if I want it to just be like... Oh, there's only like one way in... Well, oh god, hi Zazel! Jesus! Damn, okay. Hello. Oh, there goes trains outside my window again. I am being distracted by the things outside of my window. And yes, I do have my window open because it is humid, but I'm just gonna say it doesn't really help. I need to find where my where is my desk fan, because I got it last year and it was very helpful during the summer because Jesus, it was. I'm trying to do a level design. I'm trying to do a level design with like marking landmarks and stuff, but I'm trying to visualize how I going to structure this, because I already have one draft, but I want to make a second and possibly a third draft based on like what I think doesn't work. Where is my... I hope this still works. I hope this fan still works. Also, looks like balls. Oh, of course it does to you. That's better. I should have broken out my desk, my little... To quote Chris, what the fuck? There we go. That's much better. That's much better. Not so humid now, because I've got my little desk fan. Okay, let me think. Now to restructure things. Man, I'm... To be fair, it wouldn't be so much of a problem if it was... Like, if level design was more of a well-practiced skill for me, then this wouldn't be so bad, but, it is not so much of a well-practiced skill for me, so... So rather than have it, you know, directly down, like, I think that's kind of boring. We'll have it like a diagonal path from like a town square. And then, of course, it's like elevated, so it's like up like a slope or stairs or some kind. And this is like a kind of platform-ish kind of, or like little walkway in front of the station. And that means I could possibly like have it trail off elsewhere, but that's much better. That's much nicer. I need to get some like some ice pops and fucking like ice cube, like a bag of ice cubes. I need to start making like cold drinks again. It's that time of year. It's that time of year. It's appropriate. Especially when you're just kind of sat in your room for a good chunk of time, and you'll just melt. Yeah, no, it would be iced tea, because I actually tried making it for the first time last year, and I got into the habit of making it. Have an ominous non-Euclidean cube somewhere in the town square. Noted. No, noted. I'll consider this. And then I could have, like this could be like a little, like, higher, like, little viewing point to overlook, like, the rest of the area. And then, like, this whole line here is supposed to be, like, a wall, but maybe I should make it, a second line, or give a second line's worth of thickness, so, like, it's more clear that this is supposed to be a wall. Because to be fair, one line didn't really convey this properly. Hold on just a moment. And then fountain here. And then, like before, I'd still have like a level gate that rises up within the fountain, and then sort of purchase the top up, which I like that idea. I like that concept from my first draft. So maybe like the odd like market kind of like stall, not for like actual function, but just for decoration's sake, just to make it seem a little bit more vibrant. And then I think I'd need to have like a branch off of the river running somewhere, and then it would run. I mean, again, I'd have, like, a bridge that's out that needs to be raised. Raised? Lowered! I'd have a bridge that's out that needs to be lowered. I'd still have that. Okay, but consider this, a death pit. A hidden To be fair, the river itself could be considered a death pit, because I don't know if, like, this, like, sewage, like, sludge should be swimmable. Oh, and I just realized, like, maybe on top of, like, some kind of, like, silo or building that you can get to from here, you have, like, you have some collectibles. It's a shit of death. It's a shit of death. It's all sewage sludge. The evil sludge pit. Everything is a sludge pit. It's all death. Everything is all death. So... just denoting that this is, like, flowing, like, this way. Just so it makes sense. And then underneath this whole, like, little overlook area, you could have, like, a little, like, path or street end. And instead of, like, having, like, in the original, like, first draft, there's, like, this bit here, which is like, oh, there's, like, a whole bunch of stuff that you need to smash for, like, one of the collectibles. But instead, I could have that be, like, here in this section instead. Like, crates and junk and garbage and all that, and you smash all of these up to basically unearth it. So you could have that there. And I want this to be a case of maybe in some areas you have, like, visible glimpses of, like, things that you're able to interact with and destroy. Who knows? But I want this to be kind of narrow, like a narrowish path, which leads back to the town square, but from a higher ledge. So, like, this path is on, like, a higher ledge. One that the player can't easily reach by, like, wall jumping and whatnot, so... Or I make it that you can't wall jump off of houses. I should do that. I should make it impossible to wall jump off of the off of the houses in some areas. Or who knows? I'd have to think about how I would logistically do this, in a way that doesn't dampen the enjoyment of, like, the movement mechanics. So, more things that need to be considered and thought about. I love it when that happens. Man, I can't believe the Nintendo Switch 2 releases in, like, 4 days, and I haven't been able to, like, get it. Very upsetting. It'll happen eventually, but... Ouch. Right, so this would be a case of I'd need to reshuffle. Right, so ooh, wait. I may have thought of something. I may have thought of an idea. So, like, have the house be here, and there's, like... I don't know, like, maybe some kind of, like, little open, like, field, like, park area here. Actually, I'm rethinking that shape. But it wouldn't make much sense. Now I think about it, it wouldn't make much sense if the only way to get to this character's house was through, like, a park. That wouldn't really make sense. So... like, it was an idea. It was an idea, but thinking about how that would play out, nah. Not good. Not great. Ooh. Ugh. Right. Because if I look at the original draft, like the first draft, like the house was in like some kind of like lower sewer area down by like kind of a riverside. And then the player would sort of like head up like stairs. They go this way. The little trash smashing area was over here. They'd find like the first collectible here in a shop, and then use it to enter this gate. And that's where they'd be thrust into the first level. However, with this second draft, like, I feel like I could do something similar, but of course I'd need to... But I want it to be open, that's the problem. Like... Well, not, like, open in terms of, like, freedom of, like, moving from, like, between different places, but open in terms of, like, while they go from point A to point B, it's still, like, a fairly, like, a decent space to move about in? If that makes sense? So, brain, come on, you're doing your best. And my brain's doing my best, that's all that matters, but it can be a little bit frustrating. Um. Think, thinkity, think. Uh. uh. Also, while I'm trying to think about stuff, since I got back, yesterday, I've been messing around with, like, the Akuma stuff on Monster Hunter, like, a bit more, and I honestly... It, like, genuinely speaking, like, I think the Akuma armor is probably one of the best things that Capcom added to Monster Hunter Wilds. It's just, like, I decided to do, like, some hunts completely solo using, like, only the assisted combo that it gives. And, like, if you have things set up correctly, it can be, like, very crazy good. It's super cool. But yeah, no, I've been enjoying that a lot, Monster Hunter wise. And then there's just, like, playing more of GTA with, like, Heater on the download, like, outside of streams. There's been trying to get used to my levelless fight stick, like, with the release of, like, the latest DLC for Guilty Gear, which, to be fair, I should stream Guilty Gear again sometime soon, and actually try and do some proper online matches using the levelers, so I can actually properly get used to doing things, like, quickly, if that makes sense? Because there's only so much, like, doing practice mode and learning, like, combos from the combo recipe search can do. It can only help so much, so definitely more of that would be super cool to do on stream. Also, like, this has been known for a while. There is, like, a Hunter x Hunter fighting game releasing in July. I haven't fully watched the series because I tried watching it almost 5 years ago, but it was like, this is taking forever to get anywhere and it feels very slow and all that jazz. But like, that game comes out next month, but they released the demo of it within the past few days. I haven't given it a try yet, but to be fair, at the very least, it's nice that, like, I know Tekken 8 did it. I can't remember if SF6 did it. I think they did. Guilty Gear didn't. But it's very nice to have, like, or to be fair, I think Guilty Gear did a beta anyway, as well. But nice to, like, have a fighting game that gives a demo to try things out, you know, to actually decide, you know what, I'm going to get this game on release. Because it actually lets you get a little bit of a taste for things. But you know, hmm. You know, I need to give it a try at some point. um, like playing repo has been playing more bits of repo with friends has been fun too. Like maybe at some point, later down the line, I'll do a repo stream, like either with friends or with other people. Maybe, who knows? And that and Lethal Company got an update today, adding like a bunch of new stuff, a new creature and whatnot, and I am kind of dreading what this new thing is. Because apparently the dev Zekas said that it could quite quickly become like obnoxiously effective, I think they said. And I don't like the sound of that. So that's going to be interesting to face off with. That's going to be not cool. But yeah, that's some stuff that's been happening right now. Sadly, D&D hasn't happened for a while because, like, either I have been away or DM has been unwell, and like that's unfortunate because I want to see where things go in the campaign next. But of course, you know that can't happen when things don't go like as planned. But you know, stuff happens. Stuff happens. I just want to find out where what happens with my character next, man, and what happens with everyone else's characters next, and so we have. So back to the level designs. Sorry about the tangent. Back to the level design. We have a person here who requires payment of like collectibles to like lower the bridge, because like, oh, we need it for energy, or we need it because we're tired, or we need it for so and so. We'll have a cheese here. And this is like high up on a ledge that you can't really access from anywhere but like this bit here. Um, good lord. Hmm. That kind of goes down here. And then we have a level gate here. Hiding out in this spot, which I think would be a good spot for it. Like, it's a little out of the way, but it's not like, oh, you can't find us at all. Hmm. This will be on top. This will be on top of this building. So maybe we have, like, the player is able to, like, air dash from here to here. And then they can air dash over from this building to here. And they can get the cheese. Hmm. Oh, ouch. Come on. Think! I can't think anymore! Hmm. I got a dip, but have an awesome stream. Thank you very much, and thank you for stopping by, Laird. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Take care of yourself, okay? Right, so... oh, gosh. Ugh. And then we have... We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3, and then we've got 4. The Isaac has returned. Oh, good lord. And this could be like a little wall jump segment, and at the top of it is like the collectible. Monter is our new staff person. It's like, oh good lord, it's been that long. Ugh. Ow. Like, lord, it's been that long. Feels so, god. It's just the passage of time. It's like, gosh. You know, I really just... I mean, I feel old enough, but... Oh, God. Like, I feel old enough in general just thinking about a lot of stuff that happened in, like, in the past. Back in my day, we had 4 staff. Back in my day, we had council and the staff, and back in my day, I was only a member of the council. Do I need a walking stick? No, I don't think I do yet. So this is like... This is going to be a nice little wall jump segment. You go from here to here to here, and then when you get to the top, you go up here. Say maybe this is like a big destructible object that you have to charge into to get rid of. Yeah, that could work. This could work. I feel like if it's like a sewer like town or city, I guess it'll be fairly like rigid in terms of its structure depending on the interpretation. Yeah. Gosh. Okay, I'm not so warm anymore, thank goodness. I think maybe... Yeah, no, I think that's about as... Wait, hold on, I should actually write down stuff for the key, so, Destructibles. Right, there we go. Okay, so we have the key for some of the objects that we have here. Oh, wait, also, I'd probably make it more than just a dot to make it a bit more distinguishable. So, NPC. Now be an NPC. Right. Anyway, I think that's what I'm able to muster for the level design for the time being, because as I said, it's a skill that for me... Oh, hello. I'm doing very good. For me, that's a skill that's, you know, not very well practiced. It's one that I will need to sort of work on over time. The last time I did anything remotely related to the level design was designing the test level environment, so a little bit sluggish in that regard. But I think in terms of like trying to draft up like designs for like hub world environments, I didn't do too bad. It's just like I need to get more into the mindset and the workflow of it. But I'm going to call things there for today. So to people who showed up and to everyone watching things back on the VOD, whether it's here on Twitch or on YouTube, depending on when you're watching this, thank you ever so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow. I think it'll be the last Ghost Trick stream. I'm not 100% sure because I know there isn't like too much left of the game, but it depends on how long it takes for me to get through that stuff anyway. But it'll be Ghost Trick tomorrow. I still need to decide what new playthrough I start for Wednesday. I'll have a think about it. And then Friday, depending on whether or not I finish Ghost Trick tomorrow, it will either be more Ghost Trick then, or it'll be a special playthrough. But yes, thank you ever so much, and as